everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to make a necklace using products from Sam's Bead Box for October 2022. And the theme of this box is Art Deco. And oh, there were some pretty things in here. I will link the unboxing in the video in the description box below the video. If you want to check it out, you can. Sam's Bead Box is $45 a month plus shipping, and I do have a coupon code. It is just Wendy, and that gets you $5 off your first box if you're interested in subscribing. Sam's is awesome. It's all check glass and gemstone beads, and ooh, beautiful stuff. Okay, so here's what we're going. Oh, let's do our encouraging word for today. So Franklin D. Roosevelt said, "The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today." That's pretty wise words there. Okay. So, if you want to make this necklace, here's what you're going to need. I'm using all of these little Art Deco pieces here that he included in the box. I love these. I think they are so cute. And these are called the Check Glass Art Deco fans. They're 17 millimeter and they came in 4 pairs. And I've already got them laid out here because it took me a while to decide on this color scheme. The way I have them laid, and I did not want to pick them up because I would not remember it again, and then I would be frustrated. So I've got those. I'm using some of these 8 millimeter fire polish rounds that were in the box. I'm going to be using some of the 4 millimeter fire polish. I am using, let's see what we've got in here. I have a ball head pin, a regular eye pin. I have 3 12 millimeter jump rings. These are just for the lobster to clasp onto, and a little extender. I have a lobster, and I have got 4 clamshell connectors and 4 crimp beads. These are size 2 crimp beads, and these are 4 millimeter clamshell connectors, I believe. I have this really cool chain. Now, I got this chain at the Intergalactic Gem and Jewelry Show when it came to Jacksonville. So I don't know where you can get it. I haven't been able to find it online. I love it. It's so cool. That's the only place that I've seen it. So if you have an Intergalactic Gem and Jewelry Show coming close to you, hopefully the vendor would be there that would have this chain. This is all I have, and I love it. But I think it looks so pretty with this. So we're going to connect it up here on the top of our necklace. Now, if you can't find this chain, I do have the gold Coriana chain available on my website. This is very similar in the style. It just isn't the dark with the flecks of gold. It's just gold. But I do have that if you're interested. I also have gunmetal, which would go really good with this. And I mean, I have other colors too, but for this project, the gold or the gunmetal would probably be the best. I have some rhinestone rondelles up here. I know you can't see them because they're kind of off to the side. I have them separated out because I have several different sizes of them, and I'm not sure which size I want to use because I'm not sure if I'm going to be putting them in between my, are those the same? No. In between my 4 millimeter fire polish or 8 millimeter. I don't know. And I don't even know if I'm going to use them. I just put them out here because I like to add a little sparkle to things. You know how I am. And so I like to do it with rhinestone rondelles sometimes. So I'm going to scoot these up because I'm not sure if we're going to be really using those a whole lot, but we might. I've got some E6000 glue. I'm going to put it over the crimps under the clamshell connector just to give it some extra security and hold. And I've got some bead stringing wire here somewhere. Where'd my bead stringing wire go? Oh, here it is. So this is 7-strand beadalon in a satin gold, and that's what we're going to string this part on with, okay? And then your jewelry tools. My jewelry tools are Zuron and Beadalon. Zuron is my favorite with, these tweezer nose pliers are really my favorite Zuron product, and the bent nose. These are my favorites. Their round nose pliers, I don't care for. Their cutters are just like anybody else's cutters. Their crimper is definitely superior. I do love the crimper. But then for a lot of these other pliers, like the round nose pliers, I love these little Beadalon. They are teeny tiny micro, and they're really good for getting in small places. The cutters are really sharp. I like this flat nose plier. It's just really cool for smashing things down. They have a bent nose plier as well. I like it, but People are always asking me about my tools. That's why I'm going on about this. But the round nose pliers and these flat nose or these chain nose pliers and Beadalon are my favorite. And then I like the crimpers, the bent nose pliers, and the tweezer nose pliers in Xuron. So, and cutters, they're all pretty much the same. So, that's my tools. And so everybody's always asking me the brand and which ones I like the best. So there you have it. Little tool, I don't know. Okay. All right. So let's get started. let's get started. So first thing we're going to do, let me move this out of the way because we're not going to use any of this stuff for just a few minutes. We're going to start out with our bead stringing wire. Well, maybe if I can get it open. There we go. That was difficult. Okay, so I'm just going to pull off a pretty good chunk of it because I'm not sure how long I want it to be, but I know I want to have enough room to crimp on either side. So I'm doing about probably an 11 to 12 inch piece just to have enough. And I save, if I have pieces left over, I do save it because you can make tassels and stuff with the smaller pieces later. And I do that a lot. Okay. All right, so here we have our bead stringing wire. We've got our 8mm fire polish, our 4mm fire polish, and our Deco pieces and our head pin and eye pin. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a 4mm and we're going to make this small little dangle on the bottom. So I'm going to do a fire polish bead and this little Art Deco bead fan thing. He doesn't want to go on there, but he will because my head pin's bent. There we go. And we're going to make a wrapped loop here, okay? So to do a wrapped loop, you're going to need your round nose pliers, chain nose pliers. Come up just a tiny bit from the bead, bend 90 degrees. Take your chain nose pliers, grab right in the bend, and come up and over. I mean round nose. Did I say chain nose? I think I did. Round nose pliers. And then you're going to come around. And we've got a little loop here. Okay, I'm going to hold it with my chain nose plier, and you can either use another chain nose plier or you can use your fingers on these little ball head pins because they're pretty thin. And I'm just going to wrap. And I'm just wrapping down toward the bead. Going to go around a couple of times. I want it to be a little tight so the bead doesn't spin a lot. And I'm just going to wrap around 3 or 4 times until I feel that it is secure, and then I'm just going to trim it off. Okay, so we've got our little drop here. We're going to make another one. This one, I'm just going to make a drop without the small bead on the bottom, I think. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do it like this. Do I want to put one on top? Let's look and see. Yeah, I kind of like the one on top. So we're doing the same thing. We're just going to make another wrapped loop. So coming up a little from the bead, bending 90 degrees. And then we're going to come up and over and wrap. I did want to tell you guys, Rachel and Sam sent an email to me and told me some updates and things that are going on with Sam's Bead Box. So I wanted to go ahead and mention some of those things right now. Let me get a good hold on this. So first of all, they're working on opening sales slots to folks in the UK. So that's really nice. They're starting with the November box. And it says if people will send them an email to hello@samsbeadshop.com, they can add them to the interest list. So if you're in the UK and you're interested in subscribing to Sam's Bead Box, just email hello@samsbeadshop.com and they will add you to the list. And then when they get that up and running, I'm sure they will let you know. They're also having a competition. It says, not only will we have designers going head to head, but anyone can get a competition box and compete as well. So people can learn more by heading to samsbeadbox.com and clicking bonus boxes. So check that out. That sounds like a lot of fun. And then they've started releasing special kits for classes, including some seed beading kits. Folks can find available kits on the samsbeadshop.com homepage. I'm just tucking in this little snaggle from where I turned this off. Let's see. And the best way to stay in the know about new kits is to join their email list, join samsbeadshop.com. So that's the news from Sam and Rachel. And I'm so glad that they are doing well and their box is growing, and it's just great because I think they're awesome, awesome people. Okay, so here we go. We have got everything together here, and we're just going to open this up. Now, normally I like to do this part right here before I make that top wrapped loop. I find it easier, but I forgot. So we are going to do it now. All right. So there is our cute little dangle. There you have it. I like it. It's cute. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some beading. So I'm going to close off. Do I want to close off this end? No, I'm not going to. Sometimes I go ahead and crimp one end, but I'm going to be beading both sides of this guy, so I think we'll just leave it open. Okay, so we've got our 4mm fire polish, we've got our 6mm fire polish, and these beautiful little Art Deco fans, which I just love. They're so pretty. All right, so I'm going to do a 4mm fire polish bead on each side of my focal here, like that. And I think, let me look at these little rondelles here. I've got some teeny weeny ones. Aren't those cute? They have to be, I guess maybe they're probably 4mm as well, but I'm going to see what these look like in between these guys. We're going to do a couple. Yeah, I like them. They just add a little extra sparkle, and I love rhinestone rondelles. I really do. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to do two. I'm going to do 2 4mm with a rhinestone rondelle in between each one. And then we're going to go ahead with our, I think we're going to, we may do another. Let's do another rhinestone rondelle and another 4mm. I'm really weird about this area right here. I know it sounds strange, but I like to space it. I like to make it to where there are small beads here, and then you work up into the big beads. I don't know why it is, but for some reason, I just do not like to put when I've got a focal, especially dangling, I don't like to put a big, huge bead here. I don't know. It's just my own personal thing, but it's a thing with me. I'm weird about it. So I'm going to do 3 of the 4mm fire polish on each one. And then we're going to go up to our bigger bead. Okay, so we're going to do an 8mm. And see, I like this 8mm so much better right here than I would if I had put them right here. I don't know, it's a thing. Okay, so now we're going to put on some of our fans. So here we have this amethyst, this light amethyst color fan. Put him on. And over here, we're going to do the black. And I laid this out, and then I like obsessed about the colors. I was rearranging them like a mahjong game. I was like taking them and moving them and just trying to figure out how I wanted to do it. And finally, I came up with this little solution here. And I like the colors this way, so I'm going to leave them this way. I'm going to do a 4mm, a rhinestone rondelle, and a 4mm, and the same on the other side. Whoop. 4mm, rhinestone rondelle, whoops, and a 4mm. Okay, here we go. There we go. So how's that? That is pretty. Okay, then we're going to go with our next fan. I hope I cut a big enough piece of bead stringing wire. I maybe should have gone bigger. I thought I had it big enough, but that's the way it goes. Okay, and then I'm going to do an 8mm right here. 8mm right here. And we're going to do our other fan. No, I'm not. I'm changing that up. here's what we're going to do instead. I'm going to do the 4mm rondelle and 4mm. I'm going to do the same on the other side. 4mm rondelle. Can't hang on to anything today, can I? Rondelle and a 4mm. Whoops. Okay, then I'm going to do my red fan, blue fan, and now I'm going to do the 8mm fire polish. And the reason I did that is because I'm extremely OCD. And it was like, okay, I have one at the beginning, I need one at the end, and these in between. That's my way of thinking. Some of you guys always say, I'd like to be in your mind, but really you wouldn't. Because it's always kind of crazy in there. Okay, so here we have it. I think it's looking good. What do you guys think? I think it's looking pretty. I do like the sparkle that the little rhinestone rondelles give in between there. Okay, now, this is really probably as much as I want to do, maybe. That was narrative right down, didn't it? Really, probably, maybe as much as I want to do. Let me see. I may add a couple more. I am going to do a 4mm and then another 8mm up here. Yeah, I like the way that looks. So, 4mm, 8mm. Now, this kind of a necklace, I do not want to be really long. I like this kind of a necklace, like this part to hang right around my collarbone and then this part to dangle. That's kind of how I like it to be. Maybe just a tad longer than that, but not much. So I think I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to put these beads away. And we're going to go ahead and crimp here. And I forgot wire guardians. Do I need wire guardians for this? No. I'm just going to use the clamshells. Yeah, I don't need the wire guardians. Never mind. We're going to go ahead and crimp here. Now, we're not crimping like you normally crimp. These, normally you fold this over and you crimp it. We're just crimping to hold this clamshell on. Okay? So, it's just a different type of crimp. So, you don't really need to use your great crimp beads for this, and you don't really need to use your crimping pliers. You can use your chain nose pliers. So what I'm going to do, I am going to open my E6000 and get this ready. There we go. Okay, got that ready. So I'm just going to take my crimp, my clamshell, I'm sorry, and put the bead stringing wire up through the bottom, the middle. I'm going to take my little crimp. I go ahead and scoot this up. And then all I'm going to do is flatten this crimp with my chain nose pliers. I'm going to use my tweezer nose because they're easy to get in there. So I'm just going to take him, and I'm going to flatten him down. Now you want to flatten him good. You need to make sure that it is tight on your wire. If it's not, then you're going to have problems. But I am taking the E6000 glue now. And I'm going to cover that little crimp up all over and fill in the clamshell with the glue. And the glue is just going to give it some extra added security. And nothing will come apart when this glue dries because it's great glue. Okay, and I'm just going to close that clamshell up right there. You can take your plier, close it right up. And there's our little connection. Okay, I'm going to do the same on this side. Put my clamshell on and my crimp. Okay, flatten down the crimp. Making sure there's no gaps in between anything there, and there's not. Whoop, flatten it down real good. I don't want to pinch my finger with the plier. Okay, gonna trim this off. And I'm gonna use a little glue in here. And just close this right up. Okay, and there you have it. Those are two very secure little closures, and they are going to be perfect for what we need. Now, I did just realize that I only pulled out 4, and I need 6 clamshells and 6 clamshells and 6 crimps. So, I don't know why, but I did not think about that ahead of time. I was trying to be very prepared. There's another clamshell. Where's another one just like it? I've got these ones with closed loops and ones with open loops. I don't know why they even make the ones with open loops, because I don't like to use them. It seems to me like the ones with closed loops are so much more secure, so I don't know why, but they do make the ones with open loops. Okay, so got those. Let me grab a couple more crimp beads, because we're going to need them for the end of our chain. Okay, there's, whoops, that's silver. Not that it really matters, but because they're going to be under the clamshell, but still. It's another thing with that OCD. It wants all the same color. And here's the next one. Okay, so sorry about that. I thought I had those pulled out. I thought I had enough pulled out, but I didn't. Just scooping these back up in the container real quick so I don't have a big mess on the bead mat. Okay. All right, now we've got this. Now, if you wanted to, you could make a little beaded connection here, or you can do this and just hook this straight on with another clamshell. And you're going to need a tiny jump ring as well. I have some really small, like 4 millimeters, and I think that's what I'm going to use for this. Grab those too. There they are. So, you know, you could do another beaded connection here. I'm not going to. I'm just going to go ahead and do the next part of this. And for this, so this is where you have to decide how long you want this to be. I'm going to go ahead and hook one side on, and then I will crimp, or I'll cut it. So I'm just putting the chain again through the bottom of the clamshell. And this chain's a little thicker, but it still goes through if you kind of wiggle it. Maybe. I have to make my hole a little bit bigger in my clamshell. I think that'll actually be just fine though. I'm going to put the crimp on. Yeah, crimp fits. And I'm scooting it up because I don't want to waste any of this chain, because this is all I've got. And I'm just going to crimp this down with the, again, with the chain nose pliers. And I'm crimping this one pretty tightly, putting quite a bit of pressure on it because it's not going to cut this chain, that crimp's not, and I want to make sure that it is secure. And I'm going to put a little glue in there as well. E6000 dries clear, and I worked for a Swarovski dealer for several years when I was in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and she used E6000. Swarovski recommends it for anything that you do with their jewelry and their crystals, so I've just always used E6000 since then, and I love it. It's very secure and dries clear. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to hook this end on, because I want to be able to hold this up to myself and see where I want it to hang, how I want it to hang. So I'm going to go ahead and hook this on, just like this, with a small jump ring. This is a little 4 millimeter. Make sure that you get your jump ring closed up really good. And press in your clamshells so they're closed up really good. There we go. And now I'm just going to hold this up on me and see how far or how long I want this chain to be. Because like I said, I like this kind of a necklace to be fairly short. And I don't want to waste this chain. So it looks like to get it exactly where I want it to hang, I need to cut right about here. So let me see how many inches that is. it's about 6.5, and I'm going to cut it at about 6 because by the time I add my clasp on, it'll give it that extra 1/2 inch. So I'm going to cut it right here at about 6 inches. Okay, and just trim it right off. And I'm going to cut the other one exactly the same after I hook it together first. So I'm going to take it and do the same thing I did on the other side and put my clamshell on. And if your clamshell hole is too small, you can take your beading awl and round it out a little, make it a little bit bigger, but I'm trying not to do that because I want this to be secure. I don't want to end up making the hole too big. I'm going to stick my crimp bead on. Crimp it down very tightly. Again, you want to crimp this really tight. It's not going to cut this chain, this kind, it's too thick. And then I'm going to take my E6000 and I'm just going to coat it up really good. And close it. There you have it. Now we're going to jump ring it together. And close the jump ring, making sure that it's closed really well. All right, there we go. Okay, now we want to even this up. You want this to be exact, so even it up, pull this up, make sure everything's laid out flat, just like this, and then we're going to take this and we're going to trim it right here. Okay, and then I'm just going to do the same thing on the other end with my clamshells and my crimps. Taking the chain and putting through the bottom of the clam. Maybe. There we go. Taking my crimp bead, putting it right here. Going to crimp it down really firm. Okay. Going to add in a little glue here. I just coat that real good. Close it right up. Same on this side. And again, if the hole, I don't really want to stretch the hole, but I can if I have to with the beading awl. Sometimes this chain splits a little on the end when you cut it, and it's a little difficult to get through there. So I'm going to take this beading awl and just barely widen that hole just a tad. See if that'll get it through there. And the other three I didn't have this trouble with, but this one is going to be a monster because it's on video and it's the last one that I have to do. Just make this a little bit bigger. Oh, you're going to be difficult. There we go. Okay. And we're going to put the crimp right on. Smash that down really good. Really solid. Okay, little glue. Coat it up really good. And close it. E6000 dries completely, cures completely within about 24 hours. It sets up pretty solidly within about 20 minutes. So, you know, don't jerk around on this too much. I mean, the crimp should hold it without even the glue in there, but, you know, just for being careful's sake. Okay, now, what did I do with my other metals? Oh, here they are. Say, my goodness. Okay, so now we're just going to take our little lobster claw and hook him on with a jump ring. Any jump ring will do. Doesn't really matter for this guy. I'm just going to hook him right on here. This is a nice thick jump ring. I like to use thick ones for the lobster. Okay, you want to get it on there and you want to make sure it's closed really good. I can still see a little space in there, so I'm going to keep going until I get it. There we go. And then we're going to take these 3 rings and I'm going to hook one for the lobster to hook onto, one for, or 2 for an extender, just a little bit of an extender, just if I would want to adjust it some, I would have that flexibility. We're going to close that right up. And now, I do like always when I use an extender, I like to put a little dangle on the end. So I'm going to grab out another ball head pin. And I'm going to take my 2 little 4mm jump ring, or fire polish. And I had this one rhinestone rondelle left, so I'm going to use him. So let's go ahead and put that, and then this, just like that. We're going to make a little wrapped loop, so 90 degrees. Grab your round nose pliers, up and over and under. I'm going to go ahead and stick it right on here. I could open the jump ring again, but it's just as easy to do this in my opinion. Grab it with your plier in the crisscross of the wire there and just wrap. Okay, go around several times, trim it up, tuck your snag, and you've got a cute little dangle accent. Okay, so here's our necklace. I think it's beautiful, and I love this Art Deco theme that Sam has done this month. It's absolutely gorgeous. So let me put this on a form so you can see it, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are in my light box, and here is the necklace. I love this. I think it turned out so, so pretty. There it is. Very cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check out Sam's bead box. I do have the coupon for $5 off your first box if you're interested in that. And please like my channel and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed and rang that little bell, please do. It will notify you when I upload more videos. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.